to that person who's in that circumstance of feeling the call, but also maybe a feeling of not yet. I mean, I don't want to say not ready yet, but just kind of you feel like there are other things that you're still addressing. I think there is something healthy in like giving that time. But also then listening. Even before that moment happened, I think I was already wrestling with these things and being drawn to the church and already feeling those anxieties. Because I was thinking I was watching some of my friends who I really respected their kind of both their intellectual integrity and their faith and how they lived out their faith, and yet they're becoming Catholic. And I was like, well, if they're doing it, why shouldn't I be doing it? And so I was having this anxiety. And then this moment when my pastor says he's becoming Catholic was kind of like one more moment along this journey. But it wasn't over then yet either. And that, like, for example, there was still, I think I was struggling with questions about the theology and history around the papacy. I think the theology of the papacy was making more sense to me, but like the historical development of it and in many ways the kind of, obscurity of the papacy very early on. Like there's these figures there, but we don't read a lot of their writings or hear a lot about them, and the Linus and the Cletus, and like, well, who are these guys? And if they're the Pope, like, why aren't we reading all, where's the book of Cletus? Where's the, so I was having these other hangups that I was still kind of working through. But I think that was also good too. Like, in other words, that if you're feeling called, you have to respond to the call. But I think you have to be honest to where that call is leading you. And so on the one hand, I was still wrestling with these other kind of questions. In some regards, I was wrestling with them because of my state in life, and I was still living at home. And I was, I'm not sure yet. But in some ways I was wrestling because I really still had like strong concerns about that. And like, would this be accepting something that there's, some discrepancies here or some falsehoods here. But at the same time, I was still kind of responding to other kind of prompts, especially through people. Because that particular issue, on the issue of the papacy, I was discussing a lot with my then fiance, now my wife, and she was kind of like, I'm not bothered by this at all. I've already kind of resolved this one. The church needs a pope, so you either get on board or we might have to rethink this relationship, Kelleher. And so, but that was another one of those moments, just kind of like, okay, I think that's the other thing is I kind of, from the Protestant tradition, I wanted all the answers to be like clear from Scripture. But as I've kind of grown in my faith, I've recognized, but God also draws through other things besides just a Bible verse. And there can be people in your life, like a pastor or like the woman that I wanted to marry. And that is that is also calling you, and you can listen through them. And I just had to continue to be open.